Hi and welcome to Creationists. During this lecture I will give you some amazing facts regarding the koala, and then I will give one very simple, logical and rational reason why Noah's flood, as told in the Old Testament, is nothing more than a myth. The Australian koala is an arboreal herbivorous marsupial, which means that it spends most of its time in the trees on which it feeds, is active mostly at night, and females rear their young in a pouch. The size of a koala depends on its geographical location. Fully grown adults will range between 5 and 14 kilograms. Koalas are very fussy eaters. Their diet consists of almost exclusively eucalypt leaves which are native to Australia. On occasion though, the koala will eat some non-eucalypt species such as acacia, leptospermum, and melaleuca, but these are rare cases. The average koala will consume between 200 to 500 grams of leaves per day, which also provides over 90% of their hydration needs. Koalas favor around 10 out of the 680 different species of eucalyptus trees, and most koalas have shown that they will only eat one or two different types of leaf. The different types of eucalypts eaten is relative to the area that they live. Eucalypt leaves are low in protein, high in indigestible substances, and contains toxins that are harmful to almost all other species of herbivore, so it takes advantage of an otherwise unfilled ecological niche. Because eucalyptus leaves are lacking in protein, koalas rest motionless for about 16 to 18 hours a day, sleeping most of that time, the lucky little buggers. They spend around 3 of their 6 to 8 waking hours feeding, and the rest of the time probably fornicating, or grooming. The average life expectancy of a koala is between 2 and 12 years. This mainly depends on the abundance of food in their area, as they do not travel far due to a lack of stored energy and predatory activity. The only time a koala walks on the ground is when it is moving from one tree to another, for varying reasons, or going to a female's tree in an attempt to mate. Their average walking speed is only around 3 to 4 kilometers per hour, and normally no further than 1 to 200 meters at any given time. If one objectively examines even just one of these koala facts, then one would come to the logical conclusion that a koala could never survive a long trip without its main source of food, which, as I mentioned, are eucalypt leaves, let alone walking from the supposed landing spot of the Ark in Turkey, all the way to Australia, which is over 12,000 kilometers. Assuming a couple of adventurous koalas did set out from Turkey, it would be at least an 8 or 9 year journey. Traveling for 1 hour per day at 3 to 4 kilometers per hour, which would be very hard and fast for a koala, and would probably kill it within a few weeks. Obviously the koalas would need to eat, and as eucalypt trees are native to Australia, and the world had been covered with water for several months, there would be no vegetation at all for the koalas to eat, so they either carried over a ton of food each, or magical eucalyptus trees appeared every time they stopped. How could they possibly get to Australia, you say? Well, the logical and simple answer is that there was no ark, and the biblical flood is nothing more than a myth. Think about it, people. There is no possible way that koalas could have walked from Turkey, 12,000 kilometers, to Australia, without their main source of food, not to mention having to cross no less than 3 vast areas of open ocean. And this is but one example out of hundreds of thousands of species in Australia, many of which are found nowhere else in the world. These demonstrable facts are why the Noah's Ark story is just that, a story. Thanks for watching Correcting Creationists. Until next time, goodbye.